Hey there, I'm Sundeep August. I started this podcast to talk about the world we live in, not from a point of what we readily see, but from a point of what we so easily miss. This show is about exploring hidden treasures in the form of wisdom, insights, and perspectives, mined from real events and real people, and also mortals and immortals we have worshipped and admired. This show is about you and me getting inspired and appreciating the way of the world for all of its quirky, divine, and infamous gloriousness. This is the Sundeep August Show. Let's get started. I couldn't have picked a better week to launch this podcast than the week of Ganesh Chaturthi. For this reason, I will begin the show with a special episode dedicated to Lord Ganesha, one of Hinduism's most adored and widely worshipped deities is Ganesha, who has an elephant head. He usually gets summoned at the beginning of new ventures and endeavors, since he is renowned as the remover of obstacles. The narrative of Ganesha represents dedication, maternal love, and the cyclical nature of life and death. How did Ganesha come to have an elephant's head? How did he become one of the most beloved divine entities in Hinduism? How can a story inspire us on the path to success? To understand this, I think we need to take a quick look into Ganesha's origin. There are several variations, but I think it's safe to stick with the mainstream one. Here is the origin and loyalty of Ganesha. The goddess Parvati, also known as Shakti or Devi, created Ganesha. Lord Shiva, one of the main gods in Hinduism, was married to Parvati. One day, as Parvati was getting ready to take a bath, she wanted to make sure she would be alone. She decided to create a guardian, a sun-like figure to protect her. She made a boy from clay or turmeric paste from her body. She then breathed life into this figure. Parvati gave this new figure the job of watching over the door to her bathing chamber. She told him not to let anyone in while she was bathing, even if it was her husband, Lord Shiva. In the meantime, Lord Shiva arrived at his house and made an attempt to enter the room where Parvati was taking a bath. Ganesha obeyed his mother and blocked Shiva from entering. Shiva and Ganesha got into a fight because Shiva didn't acknowledge the guardian as a son. The argument became so heated that Shiva beheaded Ganesha in a fit of rage. When Parvati found out what happened to her son, it broke her heart. To make Parvati happy and fix the problem, Lord Shiva said that he would bring Ganesha back to life. He told his men to cut off the head of the first living thing they saw, which turned out to be an elephant. Shiva's men brought the elephant's head, and Lord Shiva put it on Ganesha's body, reviving him. Because of this transformation, Ganesha now has the distinctive appearance of a deity with the head of an elephant. The beauty here is Ganesha's loyalty to Parvati gave him new life, the finest possible chance for life. He was merely Ganesha guarding his mum one moment. Next, he's the Lord of new beginnings. Let's explore how staying loyal to someone or something can be beneficial in altering the trajectory of our lives in terms of career, relationships, and business. Before we get the ball rolling on things like what loyalty can bring, why loyalty is hard to achieve, how to build loyalty, and how loyalty rewards, I just want to say this about loyalty. This is something I thought about as I was working on this. I thought I'd just put it out here. Loyalty is easily preached, but very challengingly achieved, if achieved at all. And if achieved, it can challenge adversities with ease and conquer them with a blissful edge. Let's move to what loyalty can bring. We'll talk about it from the point of doers, yeah? I want to say doers are artists, actors, influencers, and creators, but I feel like artists and actors are in a different league. So, for the purpose of making it easier for me to convey my point here, I'm just going to say doers are creators and influencers. Also, I will only be broad stroking here. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, so I'll say this again if I already said it. Because I'll be talking about what loyalty means, what loyalty is hard to achieve, how to build loyalty, and how loyalty rewards for doers, partners, spouses, employers, brands, and small businesses. And that's like cleaning up from under 4 different carpets. And that's going to be a lot of mess to cover in just one piece. So I'm going to lay it easy for this one. So, coming back, what does loyalty mean or bring for doers? Creators are more likely to get constant support from loyal fans. Loyal fans keep watching your stuff, right? Loyal fans keep engaging with your stuff. This validation helps you keep going. When you see your views going up, when you see your subscriber numbers going up, when you see the number of comments going up on your videos and your posts, it makes you happy. That makes you feel like the amount of work and time you're putting in is actually turning into something. And that is rewarding in itself. I'm not even referring to sponsorships or ads in those videos or posts or pieces of content. That is a different ballgame. I'm merely referring to the point that makes you happy. Because, you're putting so much effort into what you're creating. And that there's someone out there ready to watch your stuff and enjoy and engage with it and like it and share it and talk about it to possibly someone else they know, and then that someone else starts following you. That is quite rewarding, and that reward is pretty much invaluable. And you can't put a price on such a reward. Think about it. What you're doing is for free. You're not charging the people watching a piece of content or listening to a piece of content anything. Yeah, they're giving you their time, but that's it. They're giving you their time of their own accord. They find something that you made interesting and they watch it. It's not like you're charging them a fee. I mean, yeah, there are content creators out there who actually ask you to pay so that they can create some exclusive content or create the kind of content they create, or maybe even elevate and create better content than what they're creating. But that's a different minority. If you look at even the biggest content creators, I'm talking about the likes of Mr. Beast and MK, PhD, and all these guys, they don't ask you to pay money for the kind of content they create. They do it because they love what they do, and it shows. So yeah, when you have loyal fans, it's rewarding. Now, we'll talk about what loyalty can mean for employers. The first thing that comes to mind when you say loyal employees is that loyal employees are more likely to be involved and dedicated in their work. They're motivated to do their best, which can lead to increased productivity, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, loyal employees are more likely to be dedicated in their work. But why is that? First of all, who can be a loyal employee? Someone who doesn't look for opportunities outside? Huh? Or someone who has never been able to get another job in another company? Something like that. So, while having loyal employees does reduce hiring and onboarding and training costs, the important objective for employers to keep in mind is to have quality employees who can also be loyal, or who can be loyal. It shouldn't have to be the other way around. What I mean is, loyalty should be a byproduct of quality. I mean, if you're just looking at someone who can be loyal, you're just looking at somebody who's not good at what he does, and doesn't have another place to be at. And therefore, it doesn't make them loyal, but they're forced to be loyal because they don't have other options. Now, you don't want that kind of an employee working for you. You'd want someone who's smart. You'd want someone who knows what he or she wants. Basically, someone who has his shit together and knows that he knows his shit. And if you're able to have that kind of a person loyal to your company and working with you for a long time and growing with you, then you have a good deal, because that person understands that what they have with you, with your company, is working out for them, and they're contributing to your company's growth, because your company is also contributing to that person's growth. So it's a genuine two-way street. So they understand they're being valued, and you understand that you're being valued. So there is mutual respect, and that loyalty is better than having just someone who is loyal for the heck of it, because they have no other options. Now, let's look at the aspect of loyalty concerning partners and spouses. A loyal relationship does provide emotional security and a strong sense of intimacy and belonging, if and when both parties feel loved and appreciated by the other. But the problem starts with where we are today. Look at where we are today. So many dating apps, so many endless virtual universes. It's absolutely easier for people now to meet more new people. It's becoming increasingly difficult to remain faithful in a single relationship over an extended period of time. Add to this the growing popularity and obsessive need for individualism. Individualism is great. You couldn't enjoy something like this when kings ruled over us. This is a fantastic era to discover who we are and explore what we never thought we would be. But what's happening is you're more concerned about yourself, and therefore you're less concerned about the person you're with. And that can make things really difficult and really hard very soon between two people. It's come to a stage where it is about, I want what I want, and I don't want what you want, because what you want is not what I want. And that's definitely not something what we would want. Now, we'll come to discussing the beauty of loyalty for startups and brands and small businesses. When it comes to brands or startups or small businesses, the only thing you need to focus on is customer satisfaction. And that customer satisfaction can only be achieved with superior, top quality, and unmatched products and services. It's difficult to expect loyalty from customers anymore, because customers want many, many things. You give them a top quality product, they want a cheaper price. You give them a cheaper price, they think you've given them an inferior product. You give them an inferior product and keep the price low. The complaints go through the roof. Customers are spoiled with choices. So they can always get what you're offering from a different company or from a different brand at a better price, and even get some additional benefits. Unless you make something really unique, customers will never stick with you. The moment they buy something from you, they're already looking for alternatives. I think it's that feeling for them that, hey, if this brand is selling me this product or service for this price, I'm sure there's someone else out there who's selling it for a much better price. This is especially sad when you've put in a lot of time and invested a ton of resources for your R&D, come up with a killer product or service, and ultimately give a top quality product and deliver first-rate customer service, only for the customer that you acquire with so much difficulty to move on from your product so easily. It's like a one-night stand. That's why it's important to not think about what you don't have control over. You have control over customer satisfaction in the sense that you have control over how you create your products and the kind of unique quality you bring into it. So, am I saying that loyalty is hard to build? It is kind of hard to build. I'll give you that, because if you look at it from a creator standpoint, creators are forced to create content at a very rapid pace. They have no time to sleep. They have no time for any social life. And the irony is, they have to build their popularity, their personality on social media. They have to grow on social media. They have to find new audiences on social media. Yet, they have no social life. Well, at least good content creators cannot have a good social life. And I think that's a trade-off. Some creators have contracts from brands and agencies and entertainment companies where they have a tie-up, and it doesn't matter to them if they post regularly to bring home the bacon. But a good number of creators may have to keep posting consistently, just so they can keep their audiences hooked. If a creator stops posting, the audience won't think twice to unsubscribe, and the content world, lol, is dull. This doesn't mean a creator goes ahead and copies someone else's content. It's not right and not ethical. What the audience is expecting is original content at a cutthroat pace. It's a fair expectation from the audience because they're spoiled for choice. Just like customers, you have a product, a quality product, but that's just not enough. Even if it's priced appropriately and the product itself is a very fine product, that's just not enough. Customers are always looking at other options. Likewise, audiences, even if they have subscribed to your channel, it will be hard for them to be extremely loyal to you. They do have other needs. They do have other requirements. And so they will keep looking out for other creators to help them, to keep them entertained. While it's a fair expectation from the audience, is it a fair expectation from yourself to give in to the audience so badly that you don't give time for yourself? Where does that leave you? You might be expressing your gratitude, saying thank you, and sharing your journey and milestones with your fans, but that's still not enough, is it? You still lose your fans if you're not consistent. If you have a baby, if you have a breakup, or let's say there is some personal tragedy and you want time to grieve, and you want some break because your mind is not able to cope with so many things, but you simply can't. So what do? You don't post regularly. You're gonna lose fans. Now, as an employer, you could be a very generous employer trying to give your employees time off and vacation time and all that. You could be one of those employers who loves taking your teams outside, maybe even to another country, maybe even sending your employees to another country to go work there, learn about different cultures and whatnot. You're going to sponsor all that, but in the end, they took all that experience and go to another company. So what do? How do you hold them back? You can't have a contract with your employees saying, hey, you gotta work here for 2 or 3 years, mate. Besides, how does that contract work out for you if the employee starts underperforming because of that very contract? And they say, screw this shit. I'm not gonna give my best to this employer because they're making me work like a slave. Therefore, I have no interest in working for this company anymore. But guess what? You can't let them go either. You're stuck. You have a contract, remember? And that's binding. You want to let that person go. You want to give 3 years worth of pay to that person not doing anything, or whatever remaining months worth of pay in the contract to that person not doing anything. Who do you think is at the better end of the deal? Now, in a relationship, you could be doing everything right to make a relationship work. You can be forgiving when your person does something wrong. What happens when your person keeps repeating the same mistake again and again without genuine remorse? When I say a mistake, it's not one of those silly, hey, I did a boo-boo, so sorry about that. No, I'm talking about a mistake that can have a direct impact on your relationship. One that affects your trust, one that affects your peace of mind in the long run, one that demoralizes you, one that crashes you, one that makes you want to give up on life. When you have given enough rope to someone and yet they want a little more, how do you go about it? You could be dependable, you could be reliable, saying all the right things, doing all the right things, and yet the person you're with is not keeping his or her end of the bargain. What do you do? As a startup, you could be providing the best offers, the best product, the best customer service. You're sympathetic and empathetic, resolving problems in time and doing all that. Yet, your customers leave your brand or your business and go elsewhere. Do you want to get them back? Is that worth it? Are those the kind of customers you want? Not quality customers, but customers who are willing to get anything because they really don't value your product anyway. All they ever wanted was something that you were offering for a lesser price. For a price that doesn't help you. For a price where you don't even get to break even. Can you give them what they're looking for? And the real question is that worth giving them what they are looking for? Coming back to creators, no one asked you to be a creator. You are a creator. Maybe when you became a creator, you didn't know what it would entail. But as you grew, as you started accumulating fans, as you started influencing their viewpoints with yours, you kind of knew what you were getting into by having those people follow your moves, follow your lead. So, they have given you what you wanted. Some financial independence, some creative freedom, the way to go about your life how you imagined, or maybe how you never imagined would be possible. All you did, which is of course a very hard thing to do, was to get them to like you, or to get them to value what you were doing. And because of that, you got people following you, the loyal fans. That gives you leverage. When you have loyal fans, you can influence their decisions. You get a sponsorship. Someone has to listen to what you have to say, right? Brands only contact you if you have an ardent following. If brands know that there is a person out there on YouTube and Spotify where people are listening to what you're saying, they want to give you their money so that you can sell their product in a way that is appreciated by their audience. And that can only happen if you're worthy of who you are and what you've achieved so far. So, you have to be loyal to your fans as much as you expect them to be loyal to you. And the easiest way, as well as the hardest way for you to be loyal to your fans, is for you to be loyal to your content. And the easiest way, as well as the hardest way for you to be loyal to your fans, is for you to be loyal to your content. How you go about making your content, how you go about spreading your word. Because if you look at it, it ultimately only comes down to that. As an employer, you do have funds, a lot of funds. Don't try to cut costs because it reduces your hiring costs or training costs by looking for people who can simply be loyal to you. As I mentioned earlier, look for people with quality. And if they come with loyalty, yeah, it's a bonus. But if you're going to look for people who are only loyal with no quality, then what you have is a debt on your hands. That's more expensive than hiring new people. Besides, what are people with loyalty bringing to the table? Are they bringing something new? Bringing something new to the table happens when new people come to the table with their ideas, with their fresh thinking. And that can happen when people keep moving places. Because they are learning something each time when they go to a new place. Think about it. These new people who are joining your company were not loyal to their previous company. But they're coming to your company to add value to your company. And as long as you get that, as long as you're able to get their loyalty for a certain period of time, you should be in the winning seat because you value them for their efforts and therefore they're valuing you for having hired them. As for personal relationships, if you're in a bad relationship, you'll just know. But if you continue to be in a relationship, despite knowing that you're the one giving in all the time and there is no redeeming value for you and you continue to remain in that relationship, you're devaluing yourself and therefore making it very easy for the other person to devalue you even further and take you for granted. Don't look for some sense of worth and loyalty if the other person is not loyal in their commitment towards the relationship and promises you share. As a business, you might be after the customer's lifetime value. As much as you'd like to help otherwise, the reality is there is always someone out there trying to replicate what you're offering. You also have an obligation, a never-ending obligation. That obligation is for you to keep improving what you have created or what you have designed, so that no one can replicate you to that point or anything beyond it. The idea is to have something in the best possible form that cannot be replicated. Even if your customer is leaving you for your competitor, it should be for a watered-down version of what you are offering. When you have a truly unique product, loyalty follows. So just keep on focusing on that, and everything else will orbit around that and fall in place. It's not that when you have loyalty or blind loyalty, things fall in place. Ganesha was loyal to Parvati, but that did not stop Shiva from beheading Ganesha. But Shiva was loyal to Parvati, and that prevented Ganesha from staying dead. This only worked out because Parvati was loyal to Ganesha as well, because she had created him. And also the fact remains that Ganesha was loyal to Parvati to a point where it didn't matter to him that he was going to lose his life in the pursuit of following his mom's orders. What I take from Ganesha's loyalty to Parvati is that if you're loyal to someone or something, you have immunity from becoming nothing and becoming something, even if you never thought that would be possible. If you're loyal to A, and then B is loyal to A, then A can make B an enabler for you. So focus on being loyal to that A. That A could be you. That A could be your spouse. That A could be your customer. That A could be your employee. That A could be your employer. So be very, 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 very loyal to your A. And that A will one day give you everything you could imagine, from B to C, and maybe even from A to Z. Well, that's all I have here for you today. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. I'll be back soon. Until the next one, stay loyal and have a very good one. This is the Sundeep Show.